Hey YouTube, Puff and Snuff here. Ian, checking in as always from beautiful Northeast Ohio. Jumping on tonight to do a quick Snuff review. We are talking Toque Christmas pudding. This was a new Snuff to me. I threw it in with my last MrSnuff.com order. Had the plan to open it on Thanksgiving, which I did. And if I liked it, which I do, to use it pretty much throughout the holiday season, which I will. So I've been, for any non-Americans out there, our Thanksgiving was last Thursday, so I've been playing with this for about a week and thought I'd jump on here and talk about it. A couple things, because I don't know that I've done a Toque review on here before, but a few things that are pretty consistent across the Toque line. And if you've ever seen a review from Tony Snuff, which if you haven't, you should, um, you know full well the rundown on Toque. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, almost all Snuffs are that kind of medium to light brown color. They are pretty much a consistent grind that to me is moderate to dry, just on the dry side of medium moisture, and to me, just on the fine side of a medium grind. They can be, even though there is some moisture and it's not super fine, they can be a little tricky to take for me anyway. I find if I'm not careful, I run into some throat hit, and that's never pleasant. Um, but and of course the tins, which are both fantastic and awful all at the same time. On one hand, they have the screw top, which is very nice, keeps it fresh. I've opened tins. I have a tin of whiskey and honey that is about a year and a half old that I'll open, use for a few days, put the lid back on, stick it back in the fridge, and come back to it, a handful of times throughout the year. And it stays scented. It doesn't lose its scent. Doesn't lose a lot of moisture. So from that respect, these tins are great. On the other hand, the metal, I don't know if you can see that flexing, is a little bit flimsy. So they are prone to dent and ding and bend. And if you get it bent just the wrong way, if it's in your pocket and you sit the wrong way or you bump up against something, God help you if you dent it where the cap rests, because you'll never get that lid off. You need the jaws of life to open it. So wish the metal was a little more durable, more like the old mill tins, but it's probably worth it to have the benefit of the screw cap. Anyway, on to this Snuff. One other hallmark of a lot of Toque Snuffs that I don't find to be true of the Christmas pudding is, while the Toque scents are incredibly authentic, their grapefruit is just like grapefruit, raspberry is like raspberry, lavender is just like, and we're sort of joined by Winston the Bulldog, hiding in the background. There he is. The Toque scents are typically very true to an authentic scent, but they don't last very long at all. I think Toque Coke might be the worst offender there. You take a pinch, it's just like the aroma of a Coca-Cola, but it lasts like 2.5 seconds and then it's gone. The saving grace, generally, is that the base tobacco, the flower they use, is very appealing in and of itself. It almost has a sourdough bready kind of quality to me. This, however, let's get that the right way. This, however, bucks that trend. I find the scent on this to be fairly long-lasting, especially if you are somewhere where there's some airflow or if you're outdoors or something like that. So you do get, you do get some length out of each pinch. In the tin, smells like Christmas in a tin. With the exception of maybe like the pine scent you might get from a pine tree, but everything else is in there. You kind of get the dark fruits, you get kind of a candied fruit, a lot of clove, a little bit of cinnamon, and some other stuff going on in there. There's some sort of maybe a brandy, possibly some sort of booziness in it, but not overbearing at all. So we've been warming this on the fingernail here for a while, so let's take a pinch. Oh. So, between the combination of the grind and all the stuff going on in there, there is a little bit of a burn to it. It's a pleasant burn, and it fades fairly quickly. Certainly not a Bohica Foobar burn, not that at all. This is that pleasant snuff burn that most of us kind of come to know and love. And if you get it to settle in just nice and not hit the throat, now that's a big step. That's a big first step there, is avoiding the throat. But if you can do that, you're in good shape. So the first scent that you get almost immediately is clove. I do find that if I use a lot of this in one night, 7, 8, 9, or 10 pinches over the course of a few hours or something like that, it does get to the point where the clove will kind of obscure everything else in there. But if you don't overdo it on this, the clove is very nice, and you get a little cinnamon, maybe nutmeggy kind of, all those traditional holiday spice things going on back in there. You also get, and I don't know if it's raisin or date or something like that, but you seem to get, and it may just be from the base tobacco, but you do get a sort of a dark fruit kind of essence in there. You do get a little bit of something faintly reminiscent of alcohol. I don't know if it's actually in the snuff, or if it's just kind of one of those, scent by association. You get used to the clove and the holiday spice and the dried fruits and all, like a fruit cake, and you get used to, associating alcohol with that. Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. There's also something very like Christmas potpourri or Christmas wreathy kind of going on in there. Candied orange or candied berries, something like that. I'm going to go one more. And so I haven't quite put my finger on what that, we're going to sneeze. We're going to sneeze. Okay. I haven't yet put my finger on what the fruitiness is in there, whether it's like a black currant or possibly a candied citrus kind of thing going on in there, but it's really, really pleasant. And it's a lot like it's a dessert snuff for sure, but it's not a super sweet dessert kind of snuff. It's a very good kind of after dinner snuff kind of thing. I would liken it to, just being what I would think of as kind of a traditional Christmas scent in a snuff. If you don't like clove, you're not going to like this. It's not mentholated. Most of the snuffs I take are not mentholated. So there's nothing like that going on there. You don't kind of have that menthol opening followed by a medicated clove kind of scent. But it's very, if you open up your spice cabinet and you take a sniff of the cloves and the cinnamon and the nutmeg kind of all at once, that's really what you're getting in this. So very simply put, if that appeals to you, you will very much like this snuff. If that sort of aroma does not appeal to you, you are going to hate every second of this stuff. For me, it's fantastic. It is definitely a seasonal snuff. This is not something that I could see being the least bit appealing when the weather turns a little warmer. It's definitely one of those, the scents in this, to me, are so associated with the winter holidays that I think to take it at another time of year, to me, would be kind of like, a fish out of water sort of thing. So, at the risk, phone's ringing. At the risk of prattling on and carrying this out any further than I need to, if you think you'd like the traditional Christmas scents in snuff form, definitely try this. If you don't, stay far away. You're going to be disappointed. For me, it's fantastic. I call it an 8 out of 10. It is something that I will snuff throughout the winter, and it's something that I plan to have on hand for next year when the weather turns. So that is all for me. I do have a few more snuff reviews lined up, and actually the reason I did this one It was because having done a couple reviews of things I'm not so hot on lately, I thought I'd break out something I am a fan of here. I do have some kind of downer reviews coming up, so stay tuned for those. As always, I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your subscribes down there somewhere. So that is it, guys. Take care, and we'll see you around.